Thank you all for tuning in. I'm Selena, and this is You Plus Happy. Each week, I bring you someone who challenges us to define success and happiness on our own terms with a dose of laughter. Remember to like and subscribe to the You Plus Happy podcast. You can also follow us on Instagram at You Plus Happy. This week, we have born and raised in Dallas, Texas, upcoming Kǝ'rizmǝ Toussaint. She's bringing a fresh sound to the world, putting together melodic sounds with a nice taste of Southern chopped and screwed. The 27-year-old's musical influences include Dallas native Erykah Badu and Atlanta-bred YFN Lucci. Kǝ'rizmǝ is pronounced as I'm saying it, Kǝ'rizmǝ. Atlanta is now home for this artist and that also owns a self-titled clothing brand. Her brand has been seen in the hip hop culture on artists YFN Lucci, Euro Got It, DYK, Dance Crew, and others. Her clothing brand has also appeared in multiple fashion shows around the metro Atlanta area. She's also an actress who appeared in the hit show Reboot the Game. Kǝ'rizmǝ graduated from Prairie View A&M University with a BA in business marketing. Welcome to the show, Kǝ'rizmǝ.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. I'm going to jump right in. So, how'd you get started?
So like it's different phases
Yes.
of like I have different things going on. So I'm like, where do I start? So getting first as the artist, I mean acting, the clothing brand, is so many things.
So how did you go from a BA in business marketing to now being a musician?
So the transition was I think the best way to put it is that I went to school to understand business because just everything is business. I got hired with a corporate company, and I'm still working corporate as well. But I see what they do and how they run their company, and I think about that as far as entertainment, acting, modeling, being a musician, and I wanted to kind of pair the two together. So take what the Uncle Sams are teaching me, and I'm learning from work and applying it to myself and businesses and finding other ways to help other fellow entrepreneurs from like what I'm learning from the big dogs, I guess I can say. But just always having a passion for music. I think that I can say that's just the transition. So
okay,
I'm able to do the music and also look at the business side behind it, so I can still not only just use like my voice with singing and rapping, but also my brain as far as the business side and how business and how the music business is run.
Right. You said something really important because I know I still am kind of in corporate. I'm still working for someone else, but I was in corporate America for like 9 years, and I was not being smart in the sense of I was letting them use me, and I wasn't using them back. And not like that. Like that sounds gross, but you know what I mean. Like you're like I work this job or whatever. Like I'm sure that's not your end game,
right?
But while you're in it, you're like, let me pay attention and watch how everything is run instead of just. I would just show up and think how much I hated the job. I'm not saying you hate your job, but
right? Yeah, but I get it. I've worked the job that I hate, and
so it's like besides just the money, because that's why you're there ultimately. Right. But what else can you learn while you're at this job that you quote unquote hate? Because they're running a business.
Yeah, they're running a business. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the part of business is how they run their employees as well. So, I just like I said, just pretty much using my brain, just actually not being at a job and saying either like my job now, the company I love, but the company before I began to hate it. And it's, of course it's hard to kind of take what you're learning when you like, I have things that I could teach them because, they're not, it's certain places where they lack and things like that.
I think that's when you learn like what not to do. When you start having your employees, you're going to be like, okay, I know what doesn't work because I know what turned me off from this. And not that the same thing's going to work for everybody, but it's still like, okay.
Yeah, how would I run my business, or what would I do better if? Or I feel like I see so many holes and gaps within this company. When I run my own, what can I do to fill those holes or avoid those things from happening? I've always feel like wise people learn from other people's mistakes. The same thing with business. Like you don't have to make the same mistakes as this company did because you've seen them do it. There's no point in you doing it as well. So.
Right. So wait, when you were in school for business marketing, were you thinking about doing music?
I was, but I'm always just I feel like things will present themselves how they're supposed to. I don't really like force things, so I know I have the support. I know I can build a fan base. I know I can understand the marketing and the branding that goes behind, being a music artist. And I also can be in front of the camera and actually be the artist. But when will this work? So I felt like, okay, well, let me get through school first, and let me, one of my dreams was to work corporate. Yeah, I did it twice. So it's kind of just like, I've accomplished that. So what else can I do? So I kind of I accomplish goals and I come up with something else. So getting a college degree, graduating was the goal, but also working for a major corporate company was a goal. So I got to check those two things off my list. Becoming an artist was a goal. I'm doing it now, but now I have subsets of goals within being a music artist. So
yeah. And the music, I mean, and the clothing, the brand, what made you want to do it? And then how did you follow through? It seems like you have great follow through. Anyway.
Yeah. I just like fashion and clothes and things like that. So being able to kind of come up with my own name, trying to think of something that's unique, but that's not like too much. Just wanted a subtle brand to have for myself, and then it kind of just spread with other people seeing it on me and things like that. And then following through, I mean, I feel like not being hard on myself as far as I have to have it together tomorrow. I think that's why a lot of people quit things, because they feel like, okay, I do this, it has to be successful by the end of this week. And it just doesn't work like that. Everything takes time, and everything you have to build up to, you have to, like you said, follow through and actually take your time to go through the steps, let it go through its course. The tree doesn't grow the same day you plant the seed. So just having that mindset, that's what keeps me going the most.
Yeah. That's so good. Having that patience and realistic expectations.
It's funny because we always say other people need to have patience and things like that. We talked about it last week. I feel like the hardest person to hold down is yourself, because now it's like I have to take my advice. I have to be patient with what I'm doing. It's cool if you're giving a homegirl advice and things like that, but it's like, okay, how do I use this for my own self? It doesn't have to be romantically or anything, but being patient, telling your friend to be patient with her, partners, I need to be patient with my business, or I need to be patient with whatever I'm doing, because it's going to take time.
Yeah. And you're doing what you need to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. Was there a turning point? Have there been turning points where you're like, okay, I got to take a different path, I got to do something else? Or is it like you just constantly hit these goals and constantly just make another one?
I do hit my goals and I do make another one, but while trying to accomplish those goals, I have times where, okay, well, I'm going to stop doing this for 2 months because I've ran out of ideas, or I don't know what to do next. And like I said, I'm not really big on forcing things. So if it's not there, it's just not there at the moment. It doesn't mean that it's never going to come. And also just keeping an open mind to like, okay, well, it'll come eventually. And when it does, it'll be clear as day. So it's hard. It's not easy accomplishing goals. I want to sit here and just say, yeah, I make a goal and I accomplish that and I do something else. And it's just it's a pattern, yeah. But I mean, it may take me 6 years to accomplish one goal, or it may take me 6 months. Like, they're all different. You have to treat them like basically like different kids.
Right. But it's going to get done.
Right.
How do you know which thoughts to entertain and which ones not to? So like you get an idea, but I would imagine you don't entertain every idea.
Right.
So how do you decipher?
I don't know, really. I guess I just pick whichever one I picked is the one I was supposed to pick.
Okay.
I just try to stay positive.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, it wasn't supposed to work. Like, it's hard being positive like that, but again, the hardest person to hold down is yourself. So if I don't keep myself positive, then I won't be positive. Then I'll entertain the bad ideas or the negative thoughts and things like that. It's definitely not easy, but I mean, we all we got at the end of the day.
I'm gonna call you when I feel like, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, it's all coming.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna tell you, just take a deep breath. Like, just take a deep breath. We'll figure it out. It'll come. It's not supposed to be here right now.
I like that. I don't have any like words for that. I like that so much, because I know for me, like, I put so much. Well, I'm getting this feeling of like you have to go more with the flow recently, but most of my life has been so much like, I want this to happen. How am I going to get it done? It needs to happen by this time, and getting frustrated with the process because it's not going like I think it should go. But meanwhile, it really is.
Yeah, it really
it's going how it needs to go, and you're forcing against it.
Yeah,
when you do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like it's kind of like people who live in New York that's always on the go. Even like that whole Northeast area is very like super fast paced. but it's the hustle and bustle. I'm from Texas. I'm from the South or Southwest or whatever. It's way much slower, and I kind of think like that, and I allow that time that I have of moving slow to let new ideas and things come to me. But that whole hustle and bustle and trying to figure it out and trying to get there, everybody got somewhere to go. Like we were just in New York, and that wasn't my first time being in New York. I've been to New York for like travel and things like that, but traveling for work. But when we were there for leisure, it was just like, this is not the lifestyle that, why is everybody in a rush? Like we walking slow, taking our time, taking pictures, looking at stuff, like just enjoying in the moment. But it's like everybody around us was like in a rush to do something. Even if they were just going to a restaurant, like you set a reservation, you left the house on time, you have time to just walk and pace yourself and get there. So that was just another thought. Like, I probably would never like to move fast in life.
Yeah, that's such an important point, though. I never thought about it from a cultural perspective. Like to a certain degree, we're like conditioned, right? Because I'm from the Northeast, so maybe that's why I had that like gotta go. And like walking fast, talking fast, doing everything is fast, and like I never even stopped to think that could have been like part of conditioning almost. And I like this approach of, I'm not saying one's right or wrong.
I'm conditioned too because I move slow like Southerners. I talk slower.
But that seems, I don't want to say one's better or worse, but that seems a little bit more effective than going like this all the time.
And you just burn yourself out. And like, I don't want to burn myself out on ideas and thoughts and even with songs and trying to come up with things or trying to meet new people. If it happens, it happens. Because I'm more so of like, if I meet one person, they're a good person, like we met. I know you'll be around for a while just off of the energy, and everything like that. Versus meeting a bunch of people that aren't the right people. Right. It's like going nowhere. It's like you're on a treadmill running at a 10 miles per hour speed at a 12 incline. It's just like, you're just going to be tired by the time you get to where you're going.
Got nothing. Yeah. I love that. And I heard somebody say, because this sounds, let me see, like, we don't farm anymore, like in America, like individuals, and farming teaches you a lot about, it does. Like you said earlier, planting seeds,
process,
watering it, understanding things are a process. Like it doesn't take, it's not going to happen overnight. And like this microwave mentality.
Exactly. But that's what a lot of people like, is the microwave mentality, that microwave way of doing things. I just feel like when it's cooked fast, it doesn't taste good.
It don't.
It doesn't taste good at all, literally and figuratively. Like, it's just not good. So when you take your time and you put that thing in the oven, it's going to be way better than the microwave.
No, it really will. It really will. Nobody microwaves their Thanksgiving dinner, right?
Exactly. You know what I mean? People started last week. With going to the grocery store. Like, it's a long process to putting that turkey on the table for just that one day for everybody to eat.
Yep. And they had that vision in their mind before they even went to the market.
Exactly.
Like, have there been, I know you take things easy and let things kind of go with the flow, but have there been challenges that you had to overcome while you were pursuing any of your goals?
I still think there are challenges with like trying to get a promotion with work, and I still have to interview within the company. Like I'm in the company, I have a secure job, but I mean, that's a challenge. I have to go back to teaching myself how to interview and, how to get hired and redoing my resume. And it's just challenging. We still have everyday work to do. Right. And with the company I work with Coca-Cola, they encourage people to like, get out of here and go do something else. We don't want to just keep you in just one position because you don't grow, you don't continue to grow. You may still grow and come across things in your role, but staying in the same role, if you do something else, you'll grow. So, but it's still challenging because I still have an everyday job, and they encourage, going somewhere else, and they also encouraging doing it like in a year to 6 months. I'm wow. I just got here. They already want you to kind of start thinking about, well, what's next, which is good, but I'm like, the workload, not that it's a high, like I don't have any flexibility. It's just that it's almost, I care about, the business that I manage. So I care about my job. I care about performing. We get bonuses and raises. Like I make sure I have to do a good job throughout the year to get paid. But it's still hard trying to, go to a new role and still work a heavy workload. Same thing with music, with just meeting the right people, right? You might meet someone who talks a good game, but they trying to, mess you over, or get you to sign a shitty contract, or they tell you one thing and then it's not that, or they don't keep their word and stuff like that. So I think when you start dealing with people, that's when it becomes more challenging for me.
Yeah. How do you know who to trust?
You don't.
You just gotta.
You just
I was trying to like go with my gut. I'd be like,
yeah,
okay.
that's what I say. And I have a really great intuition.
I do too.
Even when to cut friends off, when it's like, look, this just not working. I have friends and I'm like, it's just not working out. And I can't even really give you an explanation. I just have to stop talking. Like, and it's not you, it's me, because you just not for me. And some people don't understand that. They like, you know, I get the long text messages and I just have to, some of them I respond depending on who the person is, but some of them is just like, it just don't work out for me.
Wow. How do you have the courage to cut people off and tell them? Because people be ghosting. Like I've been ghosted.
I've been ghosted. I do ghosting as well.
I've done ghosting.
Sometimes it's just better because I just feel like it's less energy to ghost, especially when your energy is already drained from the friendship from the person. It's like I really don't even have the energy to tell you.
And you're not going to change, and I don't even want you to change. Exactly. I just want to go.
It's just not going to. Sometimes you outgrow people,
right?
You know, so it's just like, okay, a year ago I was, you know, the type of person you are was the type of person I need, but now a year later, you just don't fit in it. It's just not working out, and I feel like it's healthy. I think it's healthy to let people go by ghosting them and telling them, depending on the person. For me, it's easier to just let you go. Right. And you can just let your mind wander. Like, and I feel like somebody's gonna replace me. Like, I'm also like, look, I'm not gonna be around, but God's gonna send you somebody better than me, and vice versa. Like, it's not even I hate you, I wish you die. It's nothing like that. It's just like
we don't need to be in each other's space.
We don't need to be in each other's space. Some people just can't grasp that with me. I don't know why. Some people have a hard time just.
Well, some people, you know, I think we're taught like things are supposed to, relationships are supposed to last forever.
Right.
And that's not reality.
It's not reality.
That's not realistic. And it's okay. Right. But we got a hot take. Ghosting is healthy.
It's healthy.
I've never heard somebody say ghosting is
It's healthy for yourself.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I think it's healthy.
Sitting up thinking about how am I going to tell this person is, that just, people really die from health. They create health issues by going to sleep with stuff on their heart. Like I've seen people with ulcers on their stomach caused by stress or friendships and stuff like that. That stuff don't do nothing but kill you.
Like seriously, stress will kill you.
It will kill you. And being stressed out about your friend, or you don't know how you're gonna say that. You've been wanting to tell them this for 6 weeks and you can't get it out. You just let them go. Like that's why I said it's healthy.
I think I think it depends. I agree, and I think what you said too of like it just depends on the situation.
It depends
on the person, how long they've been around. I'd be thinking like if our mutual friends, what I really think is, would this be helpful for me to share why I'm going away?
Right.
Like, and if it's not helpful, I'm just gonna go away. You can start healing.
We're just gonna start our healing separately. I still have to get over you as well. Just because I, decide to step away from the friendship doesn't mean I don't have to heal people. I just feel like sometimes people are selfish. The people who like stop talking to me or ghosting me, I feel like I'm like, good for you. I wasn't meant to be, or whatever I did, said, rubbed you wrong, and you decided to, just let me go. So I don't know. Like I tell people all the time, if I'm not good for you, please let me go.
No, agree.
Seriously, like I care about you that much. If I'm not the right friend for you, let me go.
I say that. I say almost every day, like it's the concept of put your mask on first. Like in the plane, they're like, you don't help anyone until you put your own mask on. And you can't help anybody because you're going to go down trying to help somebody else. So just do what's best for you.
Do what's best for you. And I feel like that's a real supportive friend. It's not like there's no reciprocity in that. People will just see it as, okay, well, you're just trying to ghost me. But I'm just like, if you look at it, you're not the right person for me or whatever, and I'm just moving on, and that's just the end of that.
And it's okay.
It's okay. I think that's like the end point. Like it is okay. And people feel like, no, we have to have a conversation, or we have to, because now we're just going to be going back and forth. Like I could have just agreed to disagree and just move on, but some people don't want to do that.
I have been cut off and without knowledge before, and I did like wonder, like, what did I do wrong? But at some point you just have to accept what is.
You have to accept what is. So what about the ones that cut you off and then they come back? Those are the ones that I don't like the most, because at this point it's like, make your mind up.
You can't come back to me.
But some people, because I've had people that they may have stopped talking to me first. Okay, cool, whatever, you're mad about, whatever, right? And then later on, it's 6 months later, it's like, hey, I was thinking we could have a conversation. It's just like, no, like, and I've had that before, and I have those people, they reach out multiple times, but I'm just like, it's just no for me. Like,
it just depends on the situation and what happened, why we stopped talking. But if you cut me off out of nowhere, you didn't tell me anything, and then you just want to pop up, no, you made your decision. Stick with that. Like, you can't just go back and forth with me and play with my emotions, because
exactly, people like to do that.
I did have to heal from you leaving and ghosting me.
Exactly,
and I'm healed now, so I don't wish you any harm.
Exactly.
Like, if we have mutual friends, I'll be cool, but nah, we're not going to hang out. Don't be texting me.
And you'd be surprised, people will be on there too. But I just kind of feel like that's like childish elementary games.
I don't care for it. What I'm getting over a cold. My nose is running.
No worries.
What qualities do your the people who are closest to you have to have?
That's a good question. I've never been asked that. What qualities do people close to me have to have? So I would say number one is self-confidence, because I'm a very confident person. When I'm not insecure. I've been friends with people who don't, or even with women who don't feel like they're the prettiest, or they don't feel like, being friends with those type of people with like low confidence, low self-esteem, it's the worst, because when we're out, I can see it on you,
Right,
and I feel like that's draining as well. It's just unhealthy,
right?
Because now we're out, and I'm wondering why you're sad or whatever, but you mad because the men coming up to me and not you, and I have a girlfriend that I've been with. Right. So now it creates small jealousy, and then you hear it in the conversations, and then it's the jokes that's not jokes, and it's just downhill from there. So I think that will be the two qualities: self-confidence, high self-esteem. Just be confident and happy in who you are.
Yeah.
Because when you come around people who are confident and happy in themselves, it's hard for those people to kind of cope with that. Like, this person has a light and I don't. So then you come and dim my light, and it's just like trying to take, and now my light is dim. So I try to keep my eyes open for people. That's like the number one thing.
I think when you're confident and you have high self-esteem and believe in yourself, you navigate the world differently. You just move through it in a different way. So you have more going on. You won't. I think it doesn't even leave that much space to think about.
Right.
Wow, I don't look like this. I don't have this. You have so much going on. It will build your confidence. Like, I've dealt with confidence issues for sure.
I have too.
But what I learned was, well, besides affirmations, they really help. But the real thing that helped is doing things. So like doing things that make me feel good about myself, doing things that make me learn, and like the podcast gives me confidence, because I know it's something I believe in, and it's something I feel like I'm good at. So it's like, the action comes before that feeling.
Exactly.
Does that, you know what I mean?
But people are sitting in the house all day with the blinds closed and get on Instagram and be mad at every woman on there that looks good. And, it's like you lack certain things, but you also don't do anything. You just go to work and you go home.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. When you don't have that,
you gotta go do something.
You have to do something. And I think too, like, finding whatever aesthetically makes you feel good too. Like, I know what makes me feel good. If my nails are done, or my makeup looks better that day, that does help my confidence.
It helps out.
I ain't rolling up the bed talking about I'm the most confident. Like, I want to brush my teeth.
Right. You have to make yourself confident. Make yourself look like something. I feel like it's like microwave success. It's the same thing. People just want to wake out of bed and wake up and get out of bed, and it's just there. The looks, everything, the hair, the outfit, the money.
Those people that are comparing themselves to that didn't happen by accident. They work hard at that.
Exactly.
They work hard at looking good. Like,
yeah, exactly.
So no, most people don't roll out of bed and look like they look on Instagram. Sorry. So in our society, we talk about. So wait, do you feel like you failed along your journey at all?
I feel like I wouldn't call it a failure. I see all of those things as wins. I just have I'm optimistic. Probably because I'm a Sagittarius. We're very optimistic. I'm not really big on astrology, but I can't say there's one thing about that zodiac sign for sure, just optimism. But I just feel like my losses, they're wins too. Like, it's the lesson. It's just about how you look at it.
Yeah.
I always know, okay, if I do something and then turn out that I paid for, I worked, so I know I'm gonna get the money back. So I may have took a loss there, or I can dwell on, man, I could have did something else with that $100, and it went down the drain and stuff like that. So I mean, and also having people around me that's keeping me positive and things like that. So
right. Okay. What's your biggest motivation? Because you have accomplished a lot. You're only 27 and you own a home.
Yes.
So I mean, is that okay? I'm telling your business.
No, it's fine.
I'm sorry, but a lot of people, at your age, don't have that.
No, absolutely. And that was one of my friends was over today, and we were just talking about how we are a little bit ahead of our age group, so we kind of gravitate to older people or people just because the conversation will be different. It'll just be better energy because we can talk about the same type of things. But I mean, I just feel like I don't have to be 50 when I do certain things. And I think that's kind of what society paints people, because society wants you to live a certain way, right? America has it where you go to school for 14 years, including pre-K and kindergarten. Then you go to college, then you find a job, then you find a husband or a wife, and then you have a child. Like, everything is programmed, and that's why they have the TV shows. Like, we watch Martin and the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and all these shows, but it's still like programmed because they're trying to program us on how to live an American lifestyle. And I feel like some of the things is true, but I don't have to have a full family by 30, or I don't have to have found my dream job at 50 or have bought my dream house or my dream car, just whatever it is. I feel like I can do it when God says it's time, and what am I waiting for?
So wait, how do you hear? When people bring up God, I always ask them, how do you hear God?
I feel like we see him through the things that are put in front of us. It's the smallest, literally the smallest things ever. I think I was working on some clothes. I make my clothes at home, and I have an embroidery machine. So I was embroidering some clothes, and I was looking for a specific thread that I needed, a specific thread color. And I couldn't find it anywhere, and I knocked something over and it rolled out from behind like something that I had. So that's God to me.
Yeah.
Like, of course we can't physically touch him or hear him, but I feel like he shows us better than he tell us.
Okay.
And people don't pay attention to, we can't hear him or see him, but through the physical aspect, there's still another sense. We can still, know that he's there, or whoever people believe in.
Whatever you believe in. Yeah.
Just throw it out there.
Yeah. I know it's I don't know, but I believe there's something bigger out there. I don't know what it is, but I don't hear it as much as I'd like to. Maybe I gotta pay more attention.
Yeah, but it might be right in front of you.
Yeah. When but so a lot of people have ideas, a lot of people have goals, myself included, that I'll give up on.
Right.
So what keeps you motivated in those, instead of watching TV and staying in bed, or because we talked about that's our real dream.
Yeah, that's a real dream. And I still have those days. I mean, it's hard. It's not easy.
And what makes you stay at something? Like you said, something could take 6 years. What makes you stay at it?
I think really just not how I was raised, but where I was raised. So I was raised in the hood. That's all I need to see. That's my inspiration, Mama. Wow. Even when I go back home and, we drive through the same parts, and we had to ride the city bus going to school and things like that. And I've seen a lot of things just growing up in those, lower economical areas. And I feel like that's all I need to see. And you have two types of people that are in the hood: the people that think that that's normal, and the people who know that that's not normal.
Right.
So, like I said, just saying that's my motivation. I mean, I've seen people with degrees that have to not move back home, but move back home to the hood, to the ghetto, to the projects, wherever your family is, And I just think that's what keeps me going most, because even out here, I feel like Atlanta is very undeveloped for it to be a major city.
Yeah.
And we drive by buildings and just houses that are just, and it's not like you have to really drive to find it. It's right off the highway. Like you take an exit.
Right.
You don't know what you're going to see at the gas station on the corner.
True.
And it's like everywhere in Atlanta, though.
Yeah.
And that keeps me motivated. Even though it's not my native, where I'm from, I'm like, every hood is the same. You can go to California,
Right.
Compton,
No,
it's
for
all
real.
the same thing. It
Yeah.
might look
You
different.
might have a different accent, but
You might dress a little different, but we all, Black people live the same lifestyle.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
At least identical.
What do you when you were growing up, how did you know that wasn't normal?
Because I go to school and I see what people parents are dropping them off in, or maybe the things that they may have. Not necessarily like my parents, of course, either like we didn't go to school, like we didn't have clothes.
Right.
It wasn't like that.
Extreme.
It's just that they just raised us in the hood. That's where my parents found a house
Yeah.
in, and that's where they bought a house. And I mean, seeing the kids who maybe was in a different area in this, in Dallas, that may have looked better, or the cars that people drive and things like that. I mean, the world is going to show you everything if you go out there and find it. So digging deeper to find, okay, well, what else is out there? Then we have the internet around, so I can Google different things and find different things. Right. Like, okay, well, why our house don't look this modern on the inside, or why we don't have this, or why we don't have that. So not having makes me want it even more because I didn't have it.
Yeah, just paying attention and seeing what's going on around you. Okay, because when I was growing up, I think a lot of people thought it was normal because I'm a little older, so the internet was not popular. Yeah. We didn't have internet. Nobody had internet when I was young,
right?
And people didn't have exposure to anything else. So I was thinking like what you're kind of describing is exposure to other things, but that's all you know. That's
what
right is your little pocket. Then it's hard to see the bigger.
That's why
we're
really big on traveling and going places and seeing things, because it's so much out there. Even the movies that we watch, and they're in Italy. We've been to Italy and London, and that shit is not the greatest. Like it looks good on TV, right? But it's the ghettos came from the Jews and things like that. So kind of looking back, like wow, like you go to other parts of the world, they're living the exact same way. So seeing that, it's like eye opening. So coming back here, kind of just being appreciative of how Americans are a little bit more privileged than we're a first world country. So of course we're a little bit, even like, we may live in the projects or, maybe a Section 8 home or something like that. But I mean, over there, they're just trying to make it. They don't even have, it's huts and stuff out there. So being able to see that, it's crazy. But I've exposed myself to that, so I know what's out there.
Right. Did you like, side note, did you like London and Italy?
I like Italy. Well, we went to Nice, France, which is very beautiful out there. Okay. I definitely recommend. And then we also went to, we went a lot of places. We flew to London, and then we flew to Amsterdam. Then we caught a train to Belgium. Okay. Then we took another flight to Nice, France. We were there for like 3 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
So we stayed each place like 2 days or something like that. 3 days just to see. And also went to Monaco, which is like in between France and another country. I can't remember. And then we went to Italy, went to Rome, Milano, and Venezia. Venezia is very beautiful. It's very nice. But they also live that European lifestyle that New Yorkers live, which is the very fast-paced, on the go. Everybody's on the move. Everybody's on bikes. So that is just not for me. Right. I think the Caribbeans is more your vibe. Okay. So what do you hope people say about you when you're not in the room? I hope they say good things. I hope they tell the truth. I think that's what's most important. And sometimes the truth hurts. So if somebody's like, oh, well, she's this and she's that. If it's factual, then I'm with it. I like that. I hope they say the truth. Just tell the truth. Whatever you say. I don't care if it's good or bad. Like, tell them the truth. Wow. I like that. No one's ever said that on the show. You know what's funny? Everybody says something different today. And I thought when we came up with these questions, I thought more people would say like similar things. But it's so funny that everybody has a very different take on what they want people to say about them when they're not in the room. Wow. Okay, so the whole show is about, I told you, success. What does success mean to you? Success for me, I would say, means being happy in whatever I'm doing at the moment. Tomorrow's may not be here, so I can't focus too much on the present. Yeah. So whatever I'm doing right now, am I happy? So I make sure the things that I even plan to do, whether it's releasing a song or modeling or going to work. Like, am I happy doing this? I mean, that was the reason why I quit my first job and moved to another company, because I'm just not happy. So I feel like I'm not successful. If you're not happy, I feel like you don't have room to be successful. You have to be happy first.
Yeah.
That's just the number one thing. I actually, when I graduated high school, I got happiness tattooed on somewhere on me. Yeah. And that was just the number one thing. And I'm still sticking to that, which is crazy because it's like 10 years later, but I'm still sticking to just making sure that I'm happy in whatever I'm doing. And I know we had spoke about everybody's definition of success is different. So somebody's definition of success maybe is to be a millionaire, but somebody may just be cool with making $100K. Right. As long as they're comfortable, they can take care of themselves, they can put food on their plate. If they have a family, they can take care of their family. But also being happy doing that, because we do see a lot of people that are married or people step out on their marriages because they're just not happy. I feel like that's just the number one thing. So if you're not happy, how can you have a successful marriage or a successful family if you just don't want to be there or don't want to be around? So
that's so true. And like, if you're not happy in your career, you're not going to be good at it.
You can't be successful. Long. Yeah.
What were the symptoms, or not this? What were the characteristics of like why you didn't like the job that you left?
Well, bad management, and then having a black manager who's a woman who's not really trying to work with her people, but you see the other people, they up and out of here. They going to different roles. They doing this, and it's just like, oh, for you, well, I think you need more time. And I think that's another thing is people say, oh, there's a black woman in position, or there's a black. I haven't had any male issue like with managers. I feel like my best managers have been males, but now my manager at Coca-Cola, she's a woman, and I feel like she's great. So and her manager is a woman, and the person who she stepped in for was a woman. So I've had great experiences with female managers, but for mine, it was just like, I mean, you're black, you're not really trying to help us out. I'm telling you, this is not the role for me. I can't be successful if I'm not happy, if I don't want to be here. Right. They just threw me in this role because it was more so of like, if you do good in one area, we're going to move you to another team to help them out. But it's going to be a lateral movement. You're not going to be doing something else or moving up and things like that. And I think that was just the number one thing, is just bad management.
Yeah. So. And that's consistent about your personality. Well, from me talking to you today and last time, you are all about growth. So if they're gonna keep you lateral, that's not gonna work.
It's not gonna work.
Some people might be okay, like, okay, I'm in my lane, I'm vibing here. That's never gonna work for you. Right. No lateral stuff.
Yeah, and then you can tell when companies try to use you too. Like, okay, help this team make money, and then go to another team doing the exact same thing and help them grow and make money too. But it's like, if I do this well, it's gonna be a revolving. We're gonna keep doing the same thing over and over. And I know that's not what I want for my career.
Right. And these people who are not trying to help you move in any way.
Yeah, you're not trying to help at all. So,
and you said one of my questions is, when are you the happiest? But you said you're the happiest when you're doing whatever you want to do.
I don't think I answered that one. When am I the most happiest? I guess when I'm happy, right? I don't know. I don't know. Can we come back to that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's come back to that one.
When I ask these questions, I'm like, I never answered these myself. I'm gonna answer all of them one day.
Yeah, so it's like self-development questions. I like them though.
Okay.
I feel like I'm doing a SWOT analysis of myself, like my strengths, my weaknesses, my threats to myself, things like that.
Okay. So. That's why he was calling me Dr. Phil. I didn't mean to be.
Right. But it's good though, because I feel like it helps people dig deeper into themselves. I never thought about that. It's a great question.
And the goal too is like, I really want to put, I want people to have, I want the show to grow, and I want guests to be able to have exposure. But I also want the audience to find value in the show as well. Like, I want it to feel light, but then also learn something, and then also know you're not alone, because
we feeling the same.
You hear these thoughts, so you're like, okay, I know I'm not alone in this. It's just food for thought. But and talk about things that we don't typically talk about. Like, I don't go around having these conversations like at a party.
We should have these conversations. Yeah, like, you never know who you connect with. I think it'll be cool if there was actually a a place that where you have these, like, it's a party, but it's not a party. It's not that type of party. Like,
right.
we literally come and not like you just tell your business to people and things like that. Right. But how about asking people questions that help open up their own mind?
That's that's the whole goal.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you're not telling your business, but this is just, it's like how you think, how you approach the world. Because everyone's like talking about success, you know, it's a hot topic, and we all want these goals, and entrepreneurship is on the rise, and blah, 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 blah. But it's like, what are the steps, and what's the journey, and what does it look like?
Especially with the internet, everybody's going to post the best part, the pictures, the videos, but people don't talk about the struggles and things like that. And me personally, I was just talking to someone today about that. I feel like post the good things. I guess I can say only post the good things, because people need to stay motivated. I mean, if I see you post something and we're mutually sad about the same thing, that's just going to make me more sad. Like I said, a lot of us are feeling the same way, and we're going through the exact same things, and mental health issues, and how do I stay positive? How do I stay focused? How do I not get distracted by the small things? And I feel like you telling me what you're going through, that's gonna make me sad.
Right.
So
and I didn't
show the good.
I didn't ask for that. I don't want to see nobody crying.
I did not want people crying. Like, girl, why are you crying?
I'm very irritated.
Now I don't want you to cuss me out because I'm in your business, but I need to know, like, what happened, because you're here crying, really, really boo-hooing.
I don't think there's a place for that.
I don't think it is either. And I see it all the time. Yeah.
I've never cried and picked up my phone and started recording myself crying. Hey, do your thing. I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
I would block them.
Exactly.
I'm so sorry. You were getting blocked. Or muted at the very least.
Exactly.
Because
yeah.
I'm not
just
interested.
Mute you, because this is a lie. You're just gonna make me sad and bring me down. My whole day ruined because I saw this girl crying on Instagram.
No, I don't want to see that. Go call one of your friends or somebody.
Exactly.
But anyway, that's like super judgy, but I don't care. What's the best piece of advice that you've ever gotten?
I don't know. I've got a lot of great advice. I think the best piece of advice that I recently just got was never eat lunch alone, which means basically always networking, always, if you're going to have lunch, or if you're going to a Starbucks or things like that, how can you get the best out of it? Like, I work from home, but if I do go into the office, why am I here? Like, I can do the work at the office, but I can do that at home. So going into the office for me is like, we go for team meetings, but if I were to just go on my own, I would have to have a reason. Am I meeting somebody? Am I networking with other people outside of the company? Like, why am I here? And then it doesn't necessarily have to be lunch, but if someone's asking me to, hey, we're doing this tonight. Okay, can I perform, or can I get an interview, or how does it work for me? I don't want to be doing this alone. I need to work with other people in order to continue to grow and build whichever brand I'm working on at the moment.
Right. So it sounds like you're just really intentional about your life, period. Like,
I try to be intentional, and I try to push that on to people too. Because the more intentional you are, the less unintentional things will happen to you.
Right. Okay.
It's almost like, I think a good analogy can be like driving. If you're intentionally paying attention, you won't hit nobody.
Right.
But if you're unintentionally just driving, you're not paying attention, you're more bound to get into an accident.
Your head is in the clouds.
Exactly.
You're
not focused. You don't know what's going on. You can't see behind you, in front of you, and things like that.
Yeah.
So I just try to keep that mindset. Because
what about when you're not in the mood? Like, if you need to go network, or you have something planned, and you're like, I'm not in the mood today.
I just don't go.
What if you have something like a schedule, like a performance?
I don't want to say skipped out on some performances, but I have not showed up to some because it didn't work. Not necessarily because I wasn't in the mood, but it just didn't work. Like, I had a photo shoot, I had this, and someone asked me a day ago or 2 days ago to perform. I told them yes, but I'm just entirely too booked, or things roll over. So I just don't try to force it. But when I'm just not in the mood, I don't know. If I have something that I'm like, no, I need to be there. I have a performance coming up, and all week I've kind of been like, I'm really just not in the mood, but I know it's going to be a good event, a great event for me to go out to.
Yeah.
Not just perform and, showcase my music, but also, network and things like that. I just got to do it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's hard though.
Just do it. Yeah. Sometimes I don't feel like doing the podcast, but once I get started, I do. Like
Right.
it might be like a day or two before I'm like, oh, I don't feel like it, and then the day comes. I don't believe in standing people up unless it's like an extreme emergency.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
So then I'm
Right.
like, okay. And then as soon as I start, I'm like, yes. I'm like, I'm
Yeah,
good. I'm good to
Yeah.
go. Okay. Well, I'm almost out of question. I only have one more, and that's what advice would you give to listeners who want to follow in your path?
Follow my path is just like life advice, or like being an artist,
life or artist, or just like it. I don't know. You just seem like somebody who's accomplished a lot to me, because I know a lot of people who say they want a clothing line, or say they want to buy a house, or say they want to be a musician.
Right.
And I'm not putting it down, but they don't end up not following through.
Yeah.
And it's like, what advice would you give them?
I think the best advice I would give is get started, but go at your own pace. I think within a crowded world with so many ads, commercials, and people doing, your friends may be doing stuff every weekend, all the time, just not letting that peer pressure you into moving too fast, because now you've moved so fast that you've burnt out and you can't follow through. So getting started is always going to be the hardest part, but once you get started, go at a pace that works for you. And I think that's my thing. And I've had to let people know that I've only been doing music. Well, I dropped my first song 5 months ago. So it's not like I've been doing music for 5 years and I have a full catalog out. Like I only have 3 songs out. So I'm still building, and I have to tell the people around me, like the people around me, I wouldn't say they're more excited than me, but it's like they see the future and it's like, we'll get there. It's not going to be tomorrow.
Right.
I still have to build. I still have to go through the process. Like everybody else had to go through the process with building the fan base, getting better within music. It's a lot that goes to it. Then okay, I see a superstar, and I want her to be a superstar tomorrow. And I'm like, I don't want to be a superstar tomorrow.
Right. slow progress is better than no progress, and trusting who you're going to become in the process.
Right.
Because like who you are in the beginning of that goal is, if you accomplish it, is not going to be the same person you are when you accomplish it. Does that make sense? Because I'm not the same person I was when I started the podcast. Like, I learned so much. I get to talk to people and pick their brains every week. And I learned so much information and so much knowledge, and it just changes how you see the world. Like, so like going at your own pace and letting it, getting yourself prepared.
Yeah. And that's prepared is a perfect word. Like, success, people prepare for success. Success comes to those who are prepared.
Right.
Like that's just bottom line. People feel like, oh, well, this person took off overnight, or this person, like nothing is overnight. No. There's people in the background working. We just don't see them.
Right.
And they're prepared for whatever's happening to them. And you have to just trust God that, that takes them on a longer journey, and they actually get to see it later on in life and things like that. But that's number one. People just think success is it just happens, and it just is not like that.
No. It's planned out.
It's definitely it's planned, like
for sure. Well, I don't have any more questions. Do you have anything else?
I don't. Do you have anything off top of mind? Maybe we could just anything. You could throw a word out there. We could just
a word.
We could just hop into it. I'm hoping.
Wait. Wisdom, is that not a good one?
That is a good one. I mean, we did speak on that though. I said wise people learn from other people's mistakes. I feel like the more you see people make mistakes and you learn from them, I feel like wisdom can be built on. Like people feel like, oh well, I just don't know. Some people just cool with not knowing stuff. They're cool with being ignorant. They're cool with not being in the know of things, or just like, oh well, my mama never taught me that, or I never did this, or my ex was like this, so this is what I'm used to. But it's like, if you give yourself room to become wiser and learn from the mistakes and things like that, or learn from other people.
Just paying attention. One of the two, I know 2 people who I admire and respect a lot, and they don't know each other. They're not from the same place. Nothing similar about their lives. And I asked both of them like what advice would they give, and they both said listen to everybody around you and pay attention, and like just absorb it and take it all in. And I think about that a lot because I'm a talker.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'm not paying as much attention as I need to.
Mm-hmm.
But I've taken that advice into account.
Yeah, and people will tell you who they are just based off of what they say. Like your conversation will tell me a lot about you before you even have to show me anything. And that's why I feel like a lot of people are show and tell, or you meet the guys with a lot of money or whatever they do, and it's I can flash a lot of money, or I can flash the jewelry or the outfits and things like that. But your conversation tells me that you're probably a bum, or you have character flaws and things like that just by talking to them. So I mean, if you pay attention to what people say, they give it away.
It's true. It's very true. It's very true. I think okay. I think we're at time.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Wait, how do you feel?
I feel good.
Yeah.
How do you feel? I mean, new to Atlanta. I don't want to be the one interviewing you.
No, it's okay. I like it. I love it. Wait, have you only lived here in not only, but have you lived here in Texas?
Mm-hmm.
These are two places.
Yeah, the two places.
Okay.
So I was raised in Dallas, and then I went to college near Houston. So I was there for 4.5 years, and then I came to Atlanta, and I've been in Atlanta since 2019.
What's your favorite place?
They get a different love from me. It just depends on what it is. Dallas is home. But also Dallas, the city is more like people who are interested in moving to Texas. The two major cities will be Houston and Dallas, right? Dallas is more so like career oriented, family oriented. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, the city is beautiful. Like everything is like, if you're ready to just settle down, I guess I should say that. Yeah. Houston is more so of the nightlife. So it kind of depends on like what am I looking for? What type of energy and things like that. I go home and see family and things, but I don't really like go out in Dallas like at all. Unless I perform. I performed at home as well. But Houston, that's all I do is like, we're going to Houston, we're going to party.
Right. Okay.
So it's kind of like Atlanta. It's not a lot of black people. It's funny to me because people are like, oh, I want to move to Texas. I want to move to Houston. I'm like, y'all, if you're coming from Atlanta, Texas is racist. Even if you go outside of Atlanta, like, it's racist. But in Atlanta, it's a lot of black people. Like, every Walmart, every Kroger, wherever you go, there's going to be a lot of black people.
Right.
Everywhere. Like, your apartment building, you probably have more black neighbors than you do, like, Atlanta. And that was a culture shock for me. It was like, there's so many black people out here.
You know what's funny? When I went to Dallas, because before I came here, I was trying to figure out where I wanted to move, blah, blah. So I was going to all these different cities. I went to Dallas, and I think and I've done this before, a really good way to get a pulse on how the city is and how people think is go to an open mic comedy show. And I went to this is my own little tip and trick. Because I in LA, I learned how people think out there, not the general things that are happening.
Yeah, the culture is different.
Yes, the culture. And when I went to an open mic in Dallas, the first thing I learned, I was like, they are racist as fuck, because the stuff they were saying was stuff that I would never hear in Baltimore. And I'm not saying they're not racist, but that was overt racism. And I was like, it was stuff, I was like, you can't say that. Like, there was racist stuff that I had never even heard of, like a frog is racist, some kind of tattoo of a frog is some kind of racist thing.
And that's stuff I haven't even heard.
But what I would say, every single open micer, it was probably about 12 people.
Was it a mixed race? Or?
It was mixed, but all of them talked about racism, like in one way or the other. Yeah. And I mean, back in the 90s, everybody was talking about racism, like on stage. But now people, not that that's cheap or low hanging fruit, but people just have evolved since. Right. Since
your jokes, you got to come with some better jokes.
You got to come with something like more clever and all that kind of stuff. So like if I'm in Baltimore, I wouldn't. You're going to hear like how stuff might be hood, of course. It's not better, but it gives you a pulse of how that city is. And when you said that it's really racist in Texas, because I was only there for like 3 days.
Yeah, it's super racist. That's why I'm just like, people, especially the ones that want to move to Houston, like the roads are like raggedy as hell. It's racism. Like, you have to go find your black people. Versus in Atlanta, you can go anywhere and find a slew of black people. Like no matter what Walmart you go to, no matter how far outside of 285 you are, like even in Marietta, where a lot of people move up there. Now, if you go further north, you see more of our white friends, but it's a lot of black people here. So for me, that was like a culture shock. I liked it though because you get to actually see the black people living nice. Like there's a healthy black wealth. Like it's people out here that are actually getting it, but it kind of makes me feel, I don't know, I feel weird inside because there's a lot of black money in Atlanta, but the city is unattractive to me. And I just think the buildings downtown, like why aren't we have all these black billionaires who, Atlanta is on a map. The music scene, the acting scene is black Hollywood, Tyler Perry Studios, all billionaire money, but why is the city tore up like this? It is really bad.
Do you think Dallas looks better?
Yes, for sure.
And do you think Houston looks? No, Houston. You said no.
They might be negative. Houston can use, but I mean,
because I think what you're describing is any major city in America, right? Because I told you I lived in LA. And LA got big. Atlanta ain't nothing compared to kind of money LA got.
No, for sure.
And LA got some rundown shit going on.
And it's just like, why is this stuff
I don't know why it's like in major cities you just get these parts that are hyper super developed, and then there's it's like night and day. And then it's just these parts you go through and you're like, wow, what is going on here? So I know there's an answer for it because I used to date somebody who knows a lot about city planning and city development. And so there is a real answer for it. But every major like fly city, I see that like
most of them do have it.
That area where it's like, ooh,
depending on how far deep into the hood you go or trenches or whatever, it's definitely worse. But I definitely feel like I have my minors in economics, so I feel like the downtowns for sure should be the number one spots that are all built up. Not saying that y'all need to be on y'all New York stuff, but New York don't have not one building in Manhattan that looks brand down or kind of like or abandoned. I feel like Atlanta has a lot of abandoned buildings downtown, and the houses, the neighborhoods, it's just bad. It's kind of just like, we have a lot of black wealth here. I feel like if I had the money that, those black millionaires have that are in Atlanta, I definitely would be buying up neighborhoods.
Right.
You would make your money back right off his taxes. I don't know. I'm like, what's taking them so long? Like, I know there's a few of them that are starting, like T.I. has a neighborhood and things like that, but it's more than just T.I. here.
Right,
like, it's a lot of y'all. And I know people do things and they don't publicize it, but those are the things that need to be publicized.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just like, there's no way that we should still be at the bottom. So I think that's another thing that kind of keeps me going too. Like, how can I make my name big enough so that I can really start doing economical things? That's my main. If someone had to ask me what's my end goal, that would be my end goal.
Really? Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Economically, how can I make my people better for later on down the line?
Wow. That's a huge picture. That's big picture. Exactly. You're doing all the things you need to do to make sure you get to that point.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I'll close. All right. Wait. You good? Anything else?
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
I'll close this out.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing your time with us and inspiring our listeners to redefine success for themselves. And thank you, listeners. Remember to like, comment, and share this episode. Leave a review. I really, really, really appreciate your feedback. Remember to subscribe to the You Plus Happy podcast, also available on YouTube, and follow me on Instagram at You Plus Happy. And where can they catch you, Kǝ'rizmǝ?
You can find me on Instagram as well. OG Kǝ'rizmǝ. It's gonna be OGKERIZME.
And I'll put that in the show notes.
Okay.
Where can they find your music there too, and your clothing label?
Oh yeah, you can find all that on my Instagram. It'll be there.
Okay.
There's a link that has a link to everything.
Okay, one-stop shop. And I'll see you next week. We ask our guests to say the tagline, which is, we'll show you our definition of success if you show us yours.
That's what I need.
Yeah. Wait. So we ask our guests to say the tagline, which is, we'll show you our definition of success if you show us yours.
We'll show you our definition of success if you show us yours.
Yay, thank you. We did it.